And this chapter actually dives further into ethnicity issues, and just a brief summary of it are, most minorities live in poverty, they suffer from prejudice and discrimination. It doesn't matter of their socioeconomic class, they still suffer from these things. There's stress on adolescents. So yeah, it's not really good issues. It's once again pretty straightforward, but yeah. All right. So on figure 12.5, it's actually pretty interesting to me. I find it. It says, some of its type of racial hassles and the percent of adolescents who reported these. And some of these I actually find a little discouraging, but one of the biggest ones was being accused of something or being treated suspiciously. 71% of adolescents reported that they had that. So another big one too was being treated as if they were stupid or being talked down to, which 70.7, adolescents reported that they had that hassle within the past year. And I'm not surprised that this is going on, but it's it doesn't make me feel any better. So yeah. Also, it talks about prejudice, which happens, and prejudice can be defined as an unjust negative attitude towards an individual because of the individual's membership in a group. So that's being colored or being Jewish or just things like that. Those are just some examples. Media. This chapter, I find this stuff on the media really interesting. So yeah, it's kind of nice. This chapter goes into media use, and what media is like it's like TV, it's radio, it's any exposure, newspapers. There's a lot of media that everyone is exposed to, especially with the internet becoming more and more popular. So yeah, so on figure 12.6, it shows time spent on TV content, and it just shows all these things, and it shows the total media exposure for someone 15 to 18 years old is 11 hours and 23 minutes. So, and that's in a typical day, which is kind of scary. And it says how much hours people spend on video games and all these things. And total media use averages around, I'd like to say, 7.5 hours a day. So that's pretty scary. I know I spend more than that, which I probably shouldn't, but once again, television, that's a big subpoint, and it goes into TV violence, TV and sex, TV and achievement. I'll just go into those in a second, but first it says, and I found this really once again a little disturbing, but probably I'm above this number, but this textbook said that the time an average American student graduates from high school, they spend 20,000 hours watching TV. 20,000 hours. So, that's a lot. So, TV and violence. It talks about, how, violence in TV shows and kids watching it, can it increase? That's kind of what it's trying to find out. But some studies show that kids who are watching violent cartoons, and they compared it to kids who weren't watching violent cartoons in their just casual play, the kids who did watch violent show would show more aggressive behaviors in their play, choking, kicking, and just things of that nature. Television and sex. It says that adolescents who watch sexual TV shows initiate sexual acts sooner than those who don't, which isn't really surprising, but yeah. TV and achievement. Once again, this says it talks a little bit about using TV for a reward and things like that. And yeah, most often it says that TV is like has negative effects on people, that they get bored of reading, and there's just more slothing, and there's no really positive effects at an adolescent level of watching TV. But whereas at the younger level, watching stimulating TVs, and the examples listed here are Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it actually had higher grades and a positive effect on little kids. Okay, media and music. It says here that 2/3 of all CDs are purchased from people who are 10 to 24 years old. So that's surprising. I don't know if people down or buy CDs nowadays. I hope so, but I don't know. And it talks a little bit about how people who listen to certain types of music have an increased risk of drug usage in adolescence and things like that. So there's just interesting things, and it also revealed they did a study that showed that there's less self-worth and things like that. Well, listening to some negative musics that kind of talked about sex and things like that in a negative way. Technology, computers, and the internet and cell phones. The internet, I'm not going to really bother defining that. It's a core thing. We're all exposed to it every day, like it or not. It's a necessity to being a person today. So, internet used by adolescents, it's there's a lot of concerns that go out about it, because there's a lot of things that adolescents are exposed to which are negative, like and inappropriate. Like examples listed are like porn and like how to make bombs and things like that. And some of these are a little troubling, but it talks about that, and it also talks about cyberbullying and kids and their self-worth. And this I actually found was kind of interesting because it related to me. A recent study of college students, the mean was 20 years old, found that when the internet was used for shopping, entertainment, pornography, and negative outcomes, it results in a high level of drinking, drug use, and greater sexual partners, worse relationships with friends and parents, and lower self-worth. On the contrast, where college students used the internet for schoolwork and positive outcomes, resulted in a lower level of drug use and a higher self-worth. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Social policy and the media. Social policy, is just policies made by the government and stuff like that to, I don't know how really to define it, but it's pretty straightforward. But some of the social policies that the United States have come up with in the Carnegie Council on Adolescent Development, they encourage social responsible programming. They also support public efforts to make the media more adolescent friendly, and I think that is a big concern because there's a lot of things that adolescents can easily be exposed to on the internet. It encourages media literacy programs as a part of school curricula, youth and community organization, and family life, to increase media presentations of health promotions, and to expand opportunities for adolescents' views to appear in the media. And that's pretty much a summary, and a summary of chapter 12. So anyways, I hope you have a good day.